I had pressed go live. Let me just get me back in so you can see me. I'll just start all of this. Oh, doesn't want to work at all today. There we go. Yeah, for some reason, it stopped doing the live stream and I thought it had started, so I'd been chatting away. So I apologise for that. I don't quite understand what's happened, but anyway, hopefully it is now live and hopefully I am live on Facebook and my YouTube channel. Yeah, so hopefully that'll work. Good. Okay, so I'll start again. So I was saying that today I am going to use this gorgeous stamp set. It is called Cutest Crew, as you can see, and it's got a whole range of beautiful stamps with some lovely birds and cats and dogs and things and various other bits. And there are dies to go with it that match it, plus a whole load of extra dies of cats and dogs as well, separate cats and dogs, which is quite nice. So that's the bundle I'm going to use, and I'm going to choose a bundle that I'll then use for the cards that I make during the month. So I thought that would be helpful to people if I did that sort of thing. So yeah, hopefully it's now working and you can see. So let me swap back and I'll just do everything I just did again to show you what we're working with today. And I first of all just pointed out that I'm using a ridiculous number of blends for this card. Our blends, as you know, come in combo packs with a light and a grey of each, and I'm using in general both of the colours for them, but not for all of them. I am using grey granite, crumb cake, smoky slate, pecan pie, petunia pop, peach pie, a light poppy parade and a light old olive, just because I don't need them for very much, so I just needed the one from the pair. And I'm calling this a panel card. So what you need for this card is, I'll talk about, let's come off, oh no, everything falling to bits. Yeah, I'll just talk about these dies, because these dies that come with the set, here you go, here are all the dies. So you've got the dies that cut out the groups of animals as in the stamps. You've got this extra die that cuts out sort of slots all the way. You've got this die that cuts out paw prints. You've got extra butterflies and flowers. And you've also got extra single birds and dogs and cats, another cat, a dog, another bird. So there's 3 extra birds and 3 extra cats and 3 extra dogs that are separate dies, and I cut those out and stuck them on my envelope just so you could see them. So that is, I've coloured these a bit dark, so for some the light isn't brilliant today, but that's the first one. And you can see the dies actually cut out the little bits like the nose and the eyes and the mouth and the ears. They give the shading through little cuts in the die itself. Then there's this little one of the dog running along. Oh, come on, focus. Thank you. There we go. I've done it in grey. You might be able to see that one a bit better, actually. There, if I hold that up. So I've just stuck them on to decorate my envelope. I normally stamp it, and I might stamp it as well. Who knows? We shall see what I feel like as I'm getting through here. So loads and loads of those, because we are going to do quite a lot of colouring today, although I have, you'll be very glad to know, prepared a lot of it so that you won't have to watch me doing it. So what else do you need? Well, you need a card base, and I am doing a landscape card. And when I'm doing landscape cards, I tend to cut my cardstock lengthways. And the reason for that is that they stand up a lot better that way than they do if you do, I've got a card base here to show you. If I did a normal card base and turned it that way and tried to stand it up, sometimes they stand okay, but quite often they slide a bit. And I do find that having these cut this way is a little bit better when you're doing landscape cards, but it is totally up to you. So this card is 29.6, the whole length of A4 by 10.5 centimetres. If you're working with American cardstock, use the length of that. That's 11 inches, and cut it at 4 1/4 inches. And then you're going to score it in half. So for UK cardstock, that's 14.8. For American cardstock, that's 5.5 inches. And then you need a couple of pieces of one of a coloured cardstock. I've chosen peach pie because I'm also trying to use up some of my cardstock before it goes out, because some of these lovely ink colours will be retiring at the end of the month. So I thought I'd use them just to show you things to do with them. So this piece is the same width as your card. So that's 14.8 for centimetres, or 4 1/4 for inches. And it is, this one is actually 5 centimetres deep, or 2 inches. Then you also need a piece, losing that piece, a piece of basic white, which is the same length, 14.8 centimetres or 4 1/4 no, sorry, 5.5 inches, get that right, 5.5 inches by 4.25. Try again. For US cardstock, 5.5 inches long, and for UK cardstock, 14.8 centimetres. And the depth of this is 4 centimetres, or if you're working in inches, 1.5 inches. And that just means there'll be a border, as you can see, when we stick it on, because it's going to go somewhere about there. You also need a little scrap for a sentiment, and I've also got a little scrap of my coloured cardstock because I'm going to layer my sentiment before I stick it on. And then you need a separate piece of cardstock if you want to do the extras that I'm going to do. So let us get on with some stamping. So we're going to start off. I've got the pour stamp, and I'm going to use my peach pie ink pad. Just move those over there. And I'm just going to stamp this so that it's running along the card. So I'm just going to have them going this way, I think. Just a line of little paw prints. That wasn't a very good one, was it? Let's try again. That's better. Just a line of paw prints going along the card this way here. And we'll have them going off the edge here. There we go. So a nice little line of paw prints there. And then I'm going to also put a little line of, possibly 2 lines along the bottom. So I'm going to just place my coloured piece where I want it to be. In fact, I could stick it on. Let us stick it on, and then it's not going to move around. And I don't think it'll get in the way of my stamping. But if you were worried about it getting in the way of the stamping, then by all means don't actually stick this on until you've finished your stamping on the front. So I'm going to stick that on so that it runs across. My paw prints are not going in a completely straight line. Ooh, and I've got some ink on my thumb, which has got onto the cardstock. Never mind. That will be covered when we put the other piece on. Just slide up a little bit because you're not straight. I'm just going to ease that off again to try and get it a bit straighter, because that was not very straight. Let me try that again. Really must stop touching it with my inky paws, dear me. Literally inky paws. Yeah, so I'm going to have another couple of lines of paw prints coming back again. I think it's quite fun to use some of these smaller stamps as backgrounds. I think it's always good. Hello, just watching today, Margaret, not in the sight shed. You're under the weather with a cold. Oh, that's really sad. I'm sorry about that. I hope it gets better soon. I've heard a few people around with a cold. My brother-in-law's absolutely sniffling, but his is not so much a cold. He's got really awful hay fever at the moment. And then I'm going to have one more line coming back the other way here, just because I like a bit of decoration on the card. Now, I did think about doing a stamping off, so this was paler, but I decided because it's a white card base, it can take the heavier colour. So that is what I have done. There we go. So there is my card base with all of my colours on it. Just going to clean that stamp. Clean my thumb as well, actually, while I'm there. Try and get the worst off it. There we go. Oh, actually, I forgot, because you could actually use some stamps on the envelope as well. I might add them. I've put those little die cuts as I showed you before, but I'm going to put some little paw prints on as well, I think. Just running off the edge there. And we'll have some just coming off the edge there as well. There we go. Just think that brightens up the envelope a little bit more. The die cuts on their own just looked a little bit lonely somehow. Okay, so right, next stage is I'm going to stamp my dogs and my sentiment. I'll do the sentiment first, if I have not lost the scrap. Oh, there it is. My scrap of, hopefully that is big enough. I think I did measure it to make sure it was. Obviously you can just do this on any scrap of card, and then I think it is, oh, it is big enough, yeah. So I'll say have the best day. There we go. Let's clean that stamp as well. Oh, and while that's on, I was actually going to just use on the inside the happy birthday. I hadn't got it out. This is for the inside of the card. Happy birthday. And that looks very lonely because it's only a little small stamp. So I think perhaps we might have a few more paw prints on the inside as well. Oop. I haven't got my, I have ordered from the new catalogue, but I haven't got it yet. So I'm hoping it'll come very soon because I'm longing to play with some of the new stamps and tools and toys. There we go. So I'll just have a couple of lines of, let's clean that right off. A couple of lines of paw prints just to add to that. Just fills in the middle a little bit, which I like. Don't like to leave middles, the centres unadorned. I could put some butterflies. There's this lovely butterfly and flower stamps that you can use. I could put those around there. Won't bother for now. Let's stop fiddling, Carol, and get on. Right, so that is my card base done. So we're going to stamp the dogs now, and you can see they don't actually reach all across, so we're going to have to stamp them twice. And I've got a little bit of a technique to share with you about that if you want, because you'll see as I stamp this, that, for heaven's sake, I've got ink all over me today for some reason. There we go. Right. So I'm just going to stamp these right across the middle like that. And I'll need to stamp them again for this side. Now, I can just stamp them. It depends if you want 2 flowers. All the rest of the dogs have got 1 flower between them. So I am just going to clean that edge of the stamp because I'm going to mask that particular flower. So I only get the 1 flower here. And the way to do that is to just try and peel off here a little bit of one of my little sticky notes. Stick that to cover, or you can use washi tape, works very well as well. In fact, it might work better than that sticky note, actually. We'll see. And then I can ink up the stamp. And look, it has just, there we go. Then take off your sticky note. Don't forget that bit. And then you can stamp. And I'm going to overlap my flowers because it hasn't got ink on it. So I'll overlap my flower, stamp my dogs, and then I just have the 1 flower between my dogs there. Do you see? So that is that. Just clean up. I don't know why I'm so messy today, really. Right. And then it's a matter of just doing some colouring. So I've got this, and the reason I've got the red is that one of these dogs, this little dog that's lying down, just has a little tongue sticking out. So we are going to colour that tongue. And then I've got my green, my old olive. Oh, there's the other end. Just to do the leaves. And you can see why I didn't bother having both colours of old olive, because the leaf is so small that honestly trying to do the dark and the light on that is a bit of a waste of time. And then we have peach pie. So I've got the light peach pie, which I'll do some of the flowers in peach pie. I'll have 3 in peach pie. And then with the dark one, just going to put a little blob in the middle. Just to darken the middle. And I'm going to do exactly the same with the petunia pop for the other flowers. So colour in the light colour. And then have a little dot in the middle with the darker colour. Just to give them a little bit of, hold those close, perhaps you can see the little dots. Just as darker, just to give a little bit of whatever. And then obviously we can colour the rest of the dogs. We've got bandanas to cover, we've got the dogs themselves to colour. And I thought, you really don't want to just sit and watch me colour. So in the best Blue Peter tradition, here's one I prepared earlier. So I've coloured them all in now. I've done the same thing with the flowers, as you can see. I did actually leave 2 flowers there, mainly because I decided not to have a half flower off the end here. A half dog off the end. As you can see with this one, we've got a dog, oops, just sitting off the end here, but which is fine, it doesn't matter. So that is my coloured strip. And I also stamped the stamp again on a second piece of scrap so that I've got lots of other dogs, because I intend to decorate the whole card with these dogs. So I thought I'd have quite a few. Whether I'll use all of these, I don't know. But I just got carried away with colouring, if we're absolutely honest. So let us just make up the sentiment as well. So I just want to stick this scrap here that I've stamped on onto my scrap of peach pie. So I've got a layer, because white on white isn't the best to look good, but if I give it a little bit of a layer here, it's going to look great. I'm just going to use my scissors to trim it rather than get the trimmer out. I'm just going to trim so it's got a little tiny bit of a border all the way around. And to make sure that's straight, I should really have done it with the trimmer, but hey, that doesn't look too bad. And then it's a matter of simply making up the card. So this I'm going to put on with dimensionals. Now you could put up the middle piece on dimensionals if you're not going to add extra dogs. So I'm going to have that just there at the bottom. And this, I'm actually going to stick it on flat because I am going to, oh, do you know what? That isn't long enough. How did I manage to get that piece? Is that piece correct? It is. Okay, I do need to colour those dogs in, obviously. Don't know why. I'll use that because I'll cut them out with the dye, and then I can use them anyway. But obviously I completely messed that one up. Never mind. So we'll finish colouring the dogs in a minute, but then I can actually put these on. And in fact, I could use some of these to cover up some. Oh, do you know, I might. And then I can just colour the ones that are left. Right. So I'm going to stick it on flat because I'm going to use when I put the separate dogs on, I'm going to use dimensionals. And if I put this on with dimensionals as well, that would be a bit too much. So the reason I've done it this way is because this card can be made with more or less any stamp set you have, particularly ones with small images that you can put along this strip here. Can be made in any colour. You can use any other thing for the background. You could use an embossing folder for the background rather than stamping. Totally up to you what you want to do there. So I'm going to put some of these on dimensionals. Do I need mini dimensionals, or will my big ones fit? That one will. So I'm going to use them. I wasn't going to do it this way. I was going to have them elsewhere, but that's fine. If I got one, I have. Just got to think about the colours. I don't want the colours to be the same. I don't want a grey schnauzer by my grey whatever that is. It could be any puppy, that one could. So I can actually use one on the end here as well. Let me do that. Because I could just trim him like that. There. That worked for the end one. What else can I put on here? Let's see. I might just go, yeah, I am going, I'll keep reaching for my mini dimensionals, and I think I prefer to use the minis on these. That is better. So I've got one of him. This is quite fun. As I said, I wasn't going to just cover up all of these, but I probably am now. Or the ones that I've got. I might have to do one extra one because there's just one. No, I'm not. I'll put him on there. And I do have this one here, but actually I am going to use him where I was going to use him, which is separate. I was going to have some of these just dotted around the place. So I still will. I haven't got many now. I've only got him there, and I can use him as a part one that was just happened to be cut out, which I didn't want to waste. So we'll have him running on here. Now I should have moved that over a bit. Can I? No, probably won't. Let me just put him so his nose is just on the top of there. There, that doesn't look too bad. So I've only got 2 dogs to colour, which is great. Goodness me, I mean, really. So I shall use the same as I've used here, my crumb cake for this dog. And I'm just going to do his their little tags so they show up. And then we'll do him in crumb cake. So I'm starting with the light, and then I will add the shadows with my darker crumb cake in a minute. And this crumb cake is running out a bit. as my crumb cakes seem to. I think I go through more crumb cakes than I do anything else, probably because I do quite a few dogs. There we go. And I can do him in, I'll go for smoky slate. Now it gives us two. Now perhaps I'll do him in crumb cake as well, to be honest. Just because I've already got a grey one next to him, so now I've just gone with the darker one here, but that's okay. Just to give them all a different colour. So I wasn't, as I said, I wasn't actually going to spend too much time colouring, but I have managed to not spend too much time colouring by using these other ones I've got. So I'll just have to repeat some colouring with this one to give the shading, because that is the dark one. I could actually use some light pecan pie. That might work as a little shadow here. Yeah, it will. There, not too bad. Oops, there's another bit there. There, so there is my card. Wobblers or swings would be nice. Yes, it would, Margaret. I did think about that because I have got some, but they're a bit tiny, and my wobblers are actually a bit big, so I'd have to make some, and I didn't have time. So, but they would, just to have a few, especially if you've got some extra ones here, like that one. That one would be great if it was a wobble. But anyway, there we go. I might have to do another one now. I'll probably have to cut those out so I can have a little line of them chasing along here. Quite like that idea. But there we go. So this is just a really simple card, but as I said, you can make this card with just about any other set you have. Certainly any card that has a decent length of any sort of stamp. Gosh, it's getting really dark in here. I might have to turn the lights on. It's gone very dark outside. Anyway, that is my card for today. I do hope you like it, and I will see you again very, very soon. I have another Cutest Crew card. I can't speak. Cutest Crew card for you next week on my live. That is going to be on Tuesday. It is the blog hop day, and the theme is birthday. So this one would have actually done for it, wouldn't it? But I'm going to do another one for next week as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm not going to waste that because I will cut them out and use them. There's no doubt about that. Don't know why I managed to cut that completely the wrong length, but never mind. Let's not worry. Okay, thank you for joining me today. Thank you, Margaret, for saying it's a lovely card. That's very nice of you. I think in many ways I might have just stamped off. It looks better there. There's better light there. Look, it looked very dark on the other camera. It's a bit lighter there, but I perhaps would have stamped off the paws if I'm doing it again. It's a little bit bright, perhaps, but do you know what? I still like it as it is. And I have plenty of doggy friends that I can send it to. Or doggy owners, not some, well, the doggies are friends as well, but you know what I mean. Right, I shall stop babbling and we shall finish for today. I know it's a bit quicker than normal, but yeah, I hope you like that card, and I hope you have a go at making these panel cards. They're so simple and so quick and easy to make. Thanks for joining.